7 high profit businesses that actually make money in Kenya. When you are starting a business, you want to make money. Most people out there, when they are looking to start a business, they mainly focus on the capital they need for them to start. But seasoned entrepreneurs know that that's only one part of the story. You also need to think about the profit you're gonna make, and most importantly, how long it's gonna take you to be able to break even or even recover your initial investment. That is why in this video, we are going to look at all that comprehensively. How much you require to start, right? The profit you can make per day or per month or per whichever duration of time. How long it's gonna take you to break even, and also nitty-gritties relating to these specific businesses. So watch the whole of this video for you to really understand these businesses, and hopefully you're gonna get knowledge which is gonna assist you even implement some of them. In case you are new here, my name is Afagza Sifuna. I am a finance expert and qualified accountant, bringing you amazing videos about investing and making money each and every day. In case those are kind of topics which you like, down there is a button called subscribe. Click the button for you to be able to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on these amazing videos I upload each and every day. And I will still add it. Drop a like on this video. Thank you for subscribing and also liking this video. And the very first business on this list is pharmaceutical retail, or simply put, chemists. I'm pretty sure wherever you are in Kenya, when you just move away from your house a bit, even barely 1 kilometer, you're gonna reach a pharmaceutical retail or chemist. That's so because there is constant demand for medicines out here, guys. Of course, people out here become sick each and every day, and of course also most of them recover, but then they need medical intervention for them to be able to recover. That is where pharmaceuticals retail or chemists come. And chemist is a very big business in Kenya, as you're about to see. For you to be able to set up a chemist, starting with just a lean chemist, you need somewhere between 300,000 Kenya shillings to about 1 million, a modest size. But if you're thinking about very high end, those posh places, you might need to dig deeper in your pocket to pay that high amount of rent. But with 300K to about 1 million, you're gonna be good to start, because it's gonna assist you scout for a modest location. It's gonna assist you get the initial medical inventory. It's gonna assist you get the initial licenses which you require, business license, and also any regulatory licenses which you need. And also it's gonna assist you ensure you have the initial branding and start on a good footing. Of course, the deal breaker for this when it comes to chemists is that it is a highly regulated kind of business. You need to have pharmaceutical knowledge through training and also be registered or accredited by the relevant body in the country before you have a particular license for you to be able to prescribe medicines to people out there. So ensure you have that. In case you have that, this could be an amazing business for you to jump into, so that you ensure you are making a profit while also ensuring you are complying fully. And having said that, how much profit can you make? In the pharmaceutical business, guys, there's a lot of money to be made. And I'm saying so because it has broad spectrum of products. Think about the medicines, vitamins, supplements, baby products, you name it. All those can be sold within the setting of a chemist. And that broad spectrum of product offerings also comes with very high margins. That is why, in case you invest somewhere between 300,000 to about 1 million plus Kenya shillings in your initial investment, you can easily make a profit of somewhere between 3K to upwards of even 15,000 Kenya shillings each and every day. Of course, the more the investment and also the prime the location, the higher the profit. That is how lucrative the pharmaceuticals, retail, or chemist business is. And then the second business is digital marketing agency. Guys, this is another prime area. And this is so because right now businesses are appreciating they require digital marketing services. That's why they are outsourcing, for example, video editing, content creation, social media management, and all these nitty-gritties around improving an image of a business. That is why, in case you love things related to social media, you love doing video editing, you love tech, you love learning new skills around how to improve virtual image, you can think about starting a digital marketing agency. Of course, this is a kind of business which typically adopts a retainer kind of model where you are paid monthly by different businesses to assist them manage the different aspects related to their digital marketing. But be sure, at the end of the day, you'll be able to eat good. And the beautiful thing about this particular business is that startup cost is not that much. Because guys, what you typically require is You having a laptop, okay, and you having the required skills to be able to do the sales and also the technical skills around, for example, video editing, creating content, social media management, etc., which of course are low budget kind of skills which you can learn. And if you are passionate, you can really upscale real quick. With just 50,000 Kenya shillings to about 200,000 Kenya shillings, you can have the initial setup. You can simply, for example, have a very modest laptop. You can even have your own website. You can have the initial printing of business cards and start pitching to businesses out there. You'll be amazed as to how that initial modest amount of investment, 50K to about 200,000 Kenya shillings, is going to assist you start this amazing business. And I've said it's profitable. So how much profit can you possibly make? The profit to be made in this business really varies. And I'm saying so because it actually depends on how you go about selling. Is a business anchored on sales, right? Customers want to be coming to you telling you, manage our social media page. Of course, they can come in case your brand grows to become very big. But initially, you need to go to them. And that is why you being active, looking for clients, you can even be able to remain with a profit of about 30% of the retainer amount you've agreed upon. Of course, that amount can go even to assisting cater for costs, assist cater for logistics, etc. Maybe pay an employee in case you've hired someone, but be sure you won't miss 30% of the amount you are paid. So case in point, in case you have 5 clients, right? Each of them you have agreed for them to be paying you 30K each and every month. You can be rest assured you won't miss a profit of almost 50K each and every month from that particular gig you are doing. And the beautiful part about this is that it is virtual, it is remote. So you can work at the comfort of your home as long as you are supporting businesses to improve their digital image and also do digital marketing. And then the third highly profitable business in Kenya is events equipment hiring business. Guys, events in Kenya never cease. Each and every weekend, each and every day of the week, we are talking about there being weddings, there being funerals, there being corporate events, church functions, ceremonies, you name it. And even where we are right now, we are heading towards a political campaign period where we're going to be having events each and every day. And this tells you there is unlimited demand of, for example, tents, chairs, public address systems, stages, decor, and everything relating to events. That tells you, in case you get in this particular business, you'll be able to eat good because events are there day in, day out, each and every weekend. Of course, you need quite an amount of money for you to start because things like tents are not cheap, right? Things like sound systems are not cheap. But you having, for example, 250,000 Kenya shillings to even somewhere between 1.5 million, 2 million Kenya shillings, you'll be able to get into this business. Of course, 250,000 is on the lower end to assist you get in a modest way into the business. But in case you can reach, for example, 1M, you can have a wide spectrum of the different equipment offerings which are needed during an event. And be sure you'll be good to start. And of course, there's a little amount of money too you can utilize for you to be able to do marketing. And the beautiful thing about this kind of business is that you can do one-on-one marketing, right? Go to churches, talk about the possibility of supporting them on weddings, supporting them on church functions, supporting them on funerals, etc. Go to political offices, talk about the possibility of you doing hiring of equipment, sound system, you name it. You can do one-on-one pitching, and also you can even create a digital presence where you have localized presence in a given area digitally, where you are pushing your page and what you are offering to people who are on a particular social media platform. And be sure you'll be amazed as to how this kind of business, once you start, you'll begin getting clients immediately, because these are items which people don't store at home and they sit there waiting for events to happen, but they need them based on events need. So, given it's profitable, how much profit can you possibly make? And just to paint the picture for you how profitable it is, during peak season, assuming almost every day of the month, right? Your equipment is being rented. And I'm talking about the entire spectrum of equipment which you have. This is the kind of business which at even peak season, guys, you can be able to even make 20% of your initial investment. That tells you, with this kind of business, you can actually even break even within 3 months to 6 months time, depending on demand for your services. And what's the best way of you breaking even, if not in a very short span of time? Because as soon as you break even, the rest of the time is going to mean you're going to be enjoying profit. Think about it. You invest 1 million in a given business, and then you break even within 6 months. And yet the assets which you did buy have even a lifespan exceeding 3 years, 5 years. That tells you you're going to continue eating good from you hiring events equipment. And then the fourth business, which is very highly profitable in Kenya, is the business of logistics and transport services. Let's face it, each and every day, there is need for courier services, right? There is need for logistics services. People are moving goods from one place to another. Also, there are those businesses which are aiming to do last mile delivery of products each and every day. That tells you the demand for courier services or logistics services is very high in the country. And that is why you having a modest amount of maybe somewhere between 500,000 Kenyan shillings to 3 million, you can start at small scale. And in case you can be able to increase the amount which you invest initially, it maybe pump it maybe somewhere between 3 million to even 8-9 million Kenya shillings, you can be able to start mid to even large size tracking business. And be sure in this business you'll be able to make amazing amount of money. Of course, the pre-requirement for this, ensure you have insurance, you have qualified drivers, you have proper fuel management, and also you have the relevant business permits relating to their company or the business which you are doing, just to ensure you're not getting into any trouble with government or regulators as you are starting your business. And as I've said, you're going to be able to make amazing amount of profit. We are talking about you probably making good amount of money. Roughly, you'll be able to make approximately 10% to 20% your net profit each and every engagement which you have. Think about it. In case someone pays maybe 100K for a gig, be sure your net profit is going to be 20K, right? Thereabout. After you remove the cost of everything, paying employees, catering for the wear and tear of your vehicle, fuel, and so forth, that tells you this is the kind of business which is very lucrative in case you jump into it. And the beautiful thing is that more and more businesses are outsourcing their requirement for delivery services. They're not getting into that business because it requires a whole lot of heavy lifting and management around fuel, employees, and so forth. That is why even businesses out there which are doing daily deliveries are even outsourcing this function to companies that are experts in this particular kind of dealing. That is why you jumping on logistics business, you can be able to make amazing amount of money. Think about you making 20% of every money you are being paid as your profit. That is a good deal. And then the fifth business, which is also highly profitable in Kenya, is the business of commercial poultry farming. I'm pretty sure today or even this week, you've enjoyed eggs in your house. You've maybe eaten chicken in your house. All that stems from poultry farming. Simply put, the demand for eggs is rising day in, day out. And as a country, the local production is not able to cater for the demand year in, year out. That is why this area is not saturated yet. You can also jump in it and make money. Of course, it is quite a delicate area because there are those people who also incur very high losses. But in case you are patient, you refine your art, you can be able to make amazing amount of money through poultry farming. And you starting just with about 200,000 Kenya shillings to even 500,000, you will be able to get at least 500 birds. You'll be able to construct a very modest shed for these birds and even get the initial feeds and initial vaccination which you need for you to start this business. And be sure, through patience, you will be able to make amazing amount of money. And talking about profits, how much can you make through the two lines of poultry farming? Thinking about both broilers, right? And also layers, because broilers are typically bred for meat, right? Chicken, meat out here. And then layers are the ones which give eggs. Let's talk about the profits along those two lines. For broilers, assuming everything is done appropriately, a farmer can generate somewhere between 30% to 50% of the investment as profit, right? Within a 6-week cycle. Because most broilers hit the market within 6-week cycle, they mature, they go to the market. So think about it. You initially invested 100% in getting the broilers. In exactly 6 weeks time, you can make 130% or 150%. Therefore, getting 30 or 50 to 50% profit of your investment. That is a very good return if you think about it. You making 50% profit in barely 2 months time. That is a deal, okay? And then the amount of profit you can make through layers is somewhere between 0.6% to about 1% of your initial investment each and every day, assuming you've already taken time to allow the chicken to mature and then now they are laying eggs. And the beautiful thing about layers is that layers typically have an active laying period of about 1.5 years or 18 months. That tells you in those 18 months, assuming you do everything correctly, you'll even be able to make upwards of 300% of your initial investment. That is also a very good deal, guys, because you can be flipping these layers and also broilers and then end up making amazing amount of profit and be a reliable person who hotels look forward to doing business with. schools look forward to doing business with, and also local retailers look forward to you supplying them with eggs or even chicken meat, and then you'll end up being in very big business. That shows you poultry farming is a very lucrative business to get into. And then the sixth business, which is very highly profitable in Kenya, if you do your math very well and maneuver appropriately, is software development and IT solutions. I'm talking about there being demand for websites, right? There being demand for cybersecurity services. There being demand for emerging technologies. There being demand for business software, ERP systems, you name it. All these are tech-related solutions which businesses are looking forward to sourcing or paying for each and every month. And the beautiful thing about these IT solutions is that a good number of them are subscription services. Simply put, you can be able to make money each and every month depending on if our business is using your solution or not. That is why this is a very highly profitable business to get into. Of course, you need to know what you are getting into. Basically put, you need to have IT skills, right? And for those highly technical, highly sophisticated skill requirements by businesses, you need to also be very good in your craft, right? First of all, start with knowledge or skills, and then look to jump onto business, okay? And talking about business, how much capital do you need for you to start this particular business? So it is two tracks to this. In case you are having a home-based kind of like business, you just having $500,000 is going to be a good starting point for you. And most of this amount is going to go maybe towards you getting the equipment or even the necessary softwares you require for you to operate. And in case you are setting up a physical office, right, which maybe has an employee, you want a physical presence, you might need to invest maybe upwards of 1 million Kenya shillings for you to get started. But be sure the business is very lucrative because in this era we are living, demand for technology services, demand for cybersecurity, demand for business systems is extremely high. And talking about that, assuming you do everything appropriately, you've handled your sales, you are very vibrant, you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, at the end, how much profit can you make on a regular interval? Please note, this business is not the kind of business where you make money each and every day because they are paying for high value solutions. And that is why, depending on each engagement which you have, you can make a margin or a profit of somewhere between 20% to 40%. Think about it. If you have a monthly retainer agreement with a given business or a subscription model where they are paying you 100K each and every month, it basically means your profit is going to be 20K to 40K each and every month. Of course, it really varies depending on the kind of solution that the business are looking for. But guys, that tells you an average of about 30% profit on each engagement which you're having. That is a very big deal. So think about it. In case you have 10 engagements simultaneously, you will be in very big money. That is why some of the biggest monies in Kenya are made through provision of tech solutions, right? And then the seventh business which I want to talk about is real estate development. Guys, real estate, we are even talking about like is cliche, but the truth is that one of the easiest ways for you to be able to make money is to tap into people's basic needs. And the most basic needs of people out here is shelter, basically a roof over their head. In case you can look to jump onto real estate, of course, real estate is quite a broad spectrum, ranging from land and also property and buildings out here. So you jumping on real estate, of course, is a very big capital requirement for you because it typically requires very high initial capital, but be sure you can make amazing returns over time. And that is why typically out here you are told investment in real estate typically breaks even by under 10 years time, you're going to be in very big money. And from 10 years time going forth, you'll be making profit year in, year out because you'll have already recovered your initial investment. You having somewhere between 5 million, 10 million Kenya shillings, you're going to start a modest real estate development, whether it is through lands or even modest units, either through acquisition or constructing, and then you'll be able to start making money through rental income. But in case you have bigger muscles, we're talking about having upwards of 50 million Kenya shillings or even upwards of 100 million Kenya shillings, you can start undertaking big real estate construction projects, like for example, apartments, like for example, a whole control development, and at the end, you'll still be able to make money. And I'm saying so because the profits in real estate development or undertakings are typically somewhere between 5% to 11% annually. We're talking about the yield which you're going to be making each and every year of your initial investment. That tells you in somewhere between 7 years to about 11 years, you will most likely end up recovering your initial investment, assuming you have a good occupancy. Guys, that tells you real estate is a very lucrative business, because think about it. If you put 100 million down right now, right, and that money you're going to recover it in 7 to 11 years time, let me even assume you recover in 8 years. 8 years going forward, that entire money you're going to be making through rental income is going to be profit. And the beautiful thing about real estate is that real estate typically has very, very high lifespan, because we're talking about decades and decades of lifespan. Out here, we're talking about assets, like for example, buildings, even having lifespan of 50 years, 60 years, you name it. That tells you you're going to make amazing amount of money in case you have the initial capital for you to jump onto real estate. The only impediment for many people out there is initial capital, but once they unlock that, they are typically in very big business. Guys, what do you think about this business I've spoken about? These 7 highly profitable businesses in Kenya. Do you have any of these businesses already? Or are you looking to jump on into any of these businesses I've spoken about? Share that below in the comment section. Let's continue engaging there. Cheers, guys. I look forward to catching up with you in the next amazing videos. Bye-bye, and you all take care.